How you doing, everybody? I'm here with my friend Anthony,
Hello, everyone.
otherwise known as Anthony, and we just got finished watching a movie. It's this one here, I Want to Hold Your Hand. It's from 1978 and directed by Robert Zemeckis and executive producer Steven Spielberg,
Yeah,
Mr. Jaws himself.
I never knew.
And I've seen this movie quite a few times before. Anthony's never seen it. This is his first view, so he's going to be fresh on this. And you know,
Like I said, I heard about it, but I never saw it. Let alone that Spielberg and Zemeckis were involved.
well, let's tell them a little bit about kind of the general idea what the movie's about for those who don't know.
Okay, well, it's about a group of kids that want to get tickets to go see the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show, and I guess they're driving in from Jersey.
New Jersey.
Jersey.
Yeah, they live in New Jersey, and there's all kinds of silliness where the guy takes the wrong route through Philadelphia. It takes them 7 hours to get there. All this kind of crazy hijinks and things like that.
Good, clean fun.
Exactly. And I know they have different characters in here. You have, first of all, the crazy female fan who loves Paul McCartney. She's played by Wendy Jo Sperber, and she's a lot of fun. She's really crazy.
Yeah.
Pow! Pow!
Yeah, very nuts and wild about Paul, to say the least.
Like many girls were back in the day. She wants to see Paul. That's her favorite. Yeah. And then you have Nancy Allen, who, she would be in things later, kind of movies that like Dressed to Kill and Brian De Palma's wife, actually. Oh. And she just plays kind of like a neutral girl that's going to get married. She's got a fiance, right?
Yeah.
And she's not really that into the Beatles, but she's going along for the ride. And then we have Teresa Saldana over there. Sorry about the glare. She's kind of interested in Beatles as a project, really, kind of like for her school newspaper.
Yeah, to photograph them and interview them and stuff like that. Try to get some time with them to do all those things that she wants to do.
Get a big scoop on this new phenomenon known as the Beatles. Yeah. I don't really have a picture of the other lady that's here. I don't even have her name handy, I'm afraid to say. I don't know if she's Susan Kendall Newman. I don't know. But they have somebody that's kind of more of a straight-laced type of folk music fan. She likes Joan Baez,
Bob Dylan,
and
Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Yeah. And she thinks the Beatles are a big gimmick, a big joke, kind of like the Kiss of their day.
So you kind of knew as the decade rolled on, she would end up at Woodstock.
Yeah. And she wants to go there with her protest signs. The Beatles undermine artistic integrity and all this, and she wants to try to put a stop to this charade known as the Beatles. Well, also along for the ride we have Bobby, I never could say his name, Bobby DeCicco, I'm going to call him.
Yeah.
Bobby DeCicco is like a typical guy that thinks the Beatles are a bunch of geeks or whatever, and girly music and all that. Yeah. And he gets along for the ride. He wants to stop the Beatles' reign. He thinks the Beatles are taking over the women, taking all our women from us. Everybody, all the women love the Beatles, and he's going to go and put a stop to this and sabotage the show at Sullivan if he can. Well, anyway, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't know, Anthony. What's your overall opinion here? Seeing it for the first time.
Well, I think it was good, fun movie. Had its moments, had its its laughs, and I especially liked the style of 1964 New York City. In the beginning, in the record store where everybody's buying the records, they're flying off the shelves, buying all the merchandise. And all that merchandise looked like vintage Beatle material.
Yeah.
And if you have any of that stuff in the shape that it was in this movie, pristine, that is worth mucho money.
It always makes me wish I could go back in a time machine, have money, and just like buy it all and
put it in the memorabilia.
Safe, Yeah, they got a lot of Beatles memorabilia. You see, and like you said, the albums. I like how they paid like detail to like really carefully. Like at first, all you really had in the U.S. and New York was Meet the Beatles, introducing the Beatles. Really, those are only two albums you really see. And for us diehards, the covers look a little flimsy. They're not that thick cardboard of the '60s. Kind of like the '70s pressing.
And what was one of those new albums going for? $3.98 at the register.
Yeah, right. I should mention that the movie was released in 1978, so this is a 1970s movie. And I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's a good time. It's, of course, a fictional story. What if, you can make anything like that. What if this group of kids went to try to meet the Beatles, And I don't know. The girls are very entertaining. I think they're good actresses. I don't know enough about Teresa Saldana. Again, I didn't do a research. Kind of like we rushed through this. Teresa Saldana later had a tragedy. I believe she was knifed or attacked or something. I'm sure people will bring us up to speed on it. That's an unfortunate thing. Yeah. The actress who plays like the school newspaper chick, whatever. And
the one that wants the photos and the story with the Beatles.
Yeah,
get an interview with them.
You have Murray the K in here, the real Murray the K.
Yeah.
How he looked 14 years later, because of course this story takes place in February '64. The Beatles were going to do Ed Sullivan, and Murray's pretty good in it. You think he's the real Murray from 14 years ago, not some old guy. I think he does pretty good.
Well, he referred to himself as the fifth Beatle back then, if I remember
The fifth
right.
Beatle is George Martin Murray. Well, Murray's up there. George Martin's the fifth Beatle now. That's okay though.
W.A. Beatles C, was that it?
Well, he was on. They did say that, but he was on 1010 Wins. The new, 1010 Wins, which is now
a news station.
The news station was the AM pop music station, I guess, back then. I like the fact that they use real Beatles music. They use authentic Beatles music throughout the movie.
Yeah.
And that's pretty good. But although, I got to say, for the DVD release, I mean, I'd seen this movie before I got the DVD, and the songs used to be, the volume in the mix used to be up a lot louder. For some reason, I don't know why, the mix, sometimes the music is a little lower when it's in the background.
I guess they don't want to take it away from the acting.
Yeah.
And the way they put the proper song in each scene of the movies as to what was going on,
Yeah.
That was good, and one of the hotel rooms was 909.
Yeah, right. Anthony spotted that right away. Yeah, they have little nods to the Beatles, 909 and one after 909.
Yeah.
Hotel rooms scene. I can't forget Eddie Deezen. Eddie Deezen in here is the geek with the glasses. I say that now. I got glasses, but I didn't have them years ago.
I think he was Eugene in Happy Days, but I'm not 100% sure, but that's what it looks like it is to me, but I'm not 100%.
I'm going to throw this in there. Nobody's going to believe this, but many, many years ago, I'm going to say around the year 1992, I was actually trying to sell some Beatles tapes through the mail at the time, things I made up. And believe it or not, I got an order from Eddie Deezen. Eddie Deezen, the guy who's in this movie, he plays Richard Klaus, a.k.a. Ringo. He calls himself Ringo Klaus. He's the nerd in the movie. He sent me, and it's the truth, he sent me an order for a Beatles tape, and he sent it all wrapped up in tinfoil and folded over, the cash, through the mail. I'm like,
wow.
And I remember thinking, could this be the real Eddie Deezen? I sent him the tape, but then I found out later he is a real big Beatles collector and fan, so I think it was him. But anyway,
I should have tried a money order. Would have been a little safer. But it got to you anyway, right?
So it looks to me like the guy in the movie, this character in the movie, is exactly what Eddie Deezen's really like, I guess. Something, and I think he's really an asset to the movie. He's really funny. He knows everything there is to know about the Beatles. I know everything I know about the Beatles. Ask me how tall John Lennon is, and the answer come back 5'11". Ask
what George's birthday is.
What does he say? February 25th, 1943.
Yeah.
That's funny. Anyway,
yeah.
So what else can I say about it? It's a good. I definitely recommend it for Beatle fans and even non-Beatle fans. It's a lot of fun. One of my favorite scenes, and it has to do with a young kid, a boy who, he's got a long Beatle haircut. I don't know how he had the time to grow it, considering the Beatles really were just coming over. How could you emulate it that fast? But he has like a mop top going, and his father's a typical old
stern man.
Yeah, stern man. I want your haircut. And he's also got the tickets to the Ed Sullivan show.
Yeah. Kid wanted the tickets, he had to get the haircut.
Yeah, and I love that scene. That's probably my favorite scene in the movie, when the kid has no choice but to get the haircut. Otherwise, he's not going to. The father's got his tickets confiscated, and he's not going to give them to him.
I like the way they made the barbershop scene look too. Like it was so stern on the kid.
Yeah.
He's going to lose that hair. He's going to lose that Beatle haircut.
I don't like getting haircuts, folks, so I can relate to that. The chair's going up dramatically. The kid's going up in the seat there, and then you see the two of them peering down. How do you want it? And what does the father say?
I want to look like a Marine.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so it's fun.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of hair, they used the Beatle wigs in this movie quite a bit.
Yeah,
You know?
Beatle wigs.
Yeah.
It made me want to wear a Beatle wig. I have a Beatle
You
wig.
have a Beatle wig.
But authentic Beatle wig from the '60s.
Don't open it.
No, it's
Don't
sealed.
wear it.
It's sealed, and I don't want to open it up. But I may get a spare copy one day if I can get one for like not too much money and go around wearing it in my videos and stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, what else can I say about the movie? Well, they do a good job of trying to replicate, if I got the word right, the Ed Sullivan experience of the show. They have actors there that kind of play the Beatles, but the beauty is you only see them from behind, or you see them their feet, their boots,
walking around. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's pretty good the way they do
I
that.
have to say, the actor that played Ed Sullivan was pretty good. The makeup job they did on him,
was Jordan? What's his name? Was it Will Jordan? I'm just off the top of my head. I think he was famous for actually
impersonating
Ed Sullivan. And they do a little of him, which is good. You can nitpick a few things that are not accurate, but hey, you can't go for perfection all the time in these. Like, for example, at the end, they have the Ed Sullivan performance at the end. They only show you one song. Yeah. She Loves You. The real She Loves You.
But that was clever how they had, of course, the people pretending to be the Beatles on stage, and then the real Beatles through the actual TV screen as you saw it back then.
Right, you got the
monitors.
The monitor with the real
monitors.
footage.
Yeah.
And then guys on the side, like, from a long shot.
If they were aiming at John, you see, somebody from the feet down, but then up you saw the actual footage of John playing on the Ed Sullivan Show, and all the rest of the Beatles, of course.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, that's winding this down. I guess I think it's a good fun time, and it makes me think a little bit what it would be like to have been around then, and be in that kind of age. I got to say, it does feel a little bit like I really don't want. I don't want to admit this. So I'm not going to say it exactly, but the girl group, girly group.
Well, they portrayed it as real bubblegum,
Yeah, it's a bubblegum thing.
But that's what it was when it started,
So, but I certainly would recommend watching it, if you're a fan. Or even if you're not a fan, it doesn't matter. It's a fun movie. Well, anyway, we did our rating system. We like to rate on a scale of 1 to 4 stars, with 1 being poor, 2 being fair, 3 being good, and 4 being excellent, more or less. So we have our ratings here, and neither one of us knows what the other has given. We've written them down here, and I'm going to go on a scale of 4 stars. I'm going to give I Want to Hold Your Hand a 3 out of 4. And Anthony, what do you give it?
Let's take a look here.
We shall soon find out.
Same thing.
Well, we agree. What do you know about that? No Siskel and Ebert arguing here. Okay, everybody. So thanks for your time. Thanks for watching. And I'm very happy that this
tapestry,
thank you, that I put up of the Beatles just for this, has not fallen down. And only we put it up with just some Scotch tape. And it served its purpose.
Looks good.
Okay, thanks, everybody. Yeah.
So long.